embrace me as I am. Come what may, he believes, and that fate is something I've never known before. Come what may, he loves me, and that love has helped me open a door, making me love myself a little more. When I turn away, he knows those are the times there's nothing he can say, nothing that anyone can do, and so he lets me live it through. And when I'm in my darkest hours of uncertainty, he just simply lets me be and goes right on loving me. Come what may, he believes, and that fate is something I've never known before. Come what may, he loves me, and that love has helped me open a door, making me love myself a little And when it seems my dreams have all slipped through my fingers, when they just can't be found, I turn around and there they are, shining in her eyes, shining in his eyes.
Aloha once again, everyone, from Honolulu, Hawaii. Welcome to Philcom Cares Radiothon and Virtual Show. I'm Larry Ordonez. We are live on air by way of 3 radio stations, KNDI, KKNE, KPHI. We are inviting our media partners of today's Radiothon to connect and test your audio levels for our on-air broadcasts, say in 8 minutes. 8 minutes will be live on our online and on-air Radiothon. I'm Larry Ordonez, one of the co-hosts in today's Radiothon. Clement Montero will be joining me very shortly. Singing right now, we have A.B. Ram of Netherlands, originally from Cavite over in the Philippines. And she has appeared in our Filipino radio program on KNDI months past. And reminding all of you, this event is brought to you by the Filipino Community Center, Hawaii Public Health Institute, Ethnic Education Hawaii, and this live broadcast is funded by the State of Hawaii Department of Health and Grants in Aid. We will be joined by many of our panel of speakers, notable for what they do for our community, especially in our medical industry. And we thank them ahead of time right now for joining us today in our Radiothon, brought to you by the Filipino Community Center, Hawaii Public Health Institute, and Ethnic Education Hawaii. Philcom Cares Radiothon in 7 minutes.
I'd like to break the chains you put around me, and yet I'll never try. No matter what you do, you drive me crazy. I'd rather be alone. But then I know my life would be so empty as soon as you were anyone but you.
You make me sad, you make me strong, you make me mad, you make me love for you. You make me weak, you make me die, you make me love, you make me cry for you.
You make me cry for you.
I hate you, then I love you, then I love you, then I hate you, then I love you more.
Whatever you do, I never, never, never want to be in love with anyone but you. You treat me wrong, you treat me
Thank you once again, everyone, for joining us. We'll be live with our radiothon in 5 minutes. We are hoping that all of our media partners are now poised to carry our broadcasts. We'd like to make a special thank you to KNDI, to Pinoy Power KKNE, as well as KPHI for carrying our broadcasts in today's Philcom Cares Radiothon, brought to you by the Filipino Community Center, Hawaii Public Health Institute, Ethnic Education Hawaii, and of course, this radiothon is being funded by the State of Hawaii Department of Health and Grants in Aid. It's 9:56. Singing that you see on our screen right now are singers from Porto, Portugal, who had appeared on KNDI's Filipino radio program. And they are Patricia Fraga, and of course, Sergio himself, singing right here on KNDI Radio. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And we'll have more singers in our program. Patricia Fraga, Sergio Souza Martins of Porto, Portugal.
Tell me something, girl. Are you happy in this modern world? Or do you need more? Is there something else you're searching for? I'm falling. In all the good times I find myself longing for change, and in the bad times I fear myself.
Tell me something, boy. Aren't you tired trying to fill that void? Or do you need more? Ain't it hard keeping it so hardcore? I'm falling. In all the good times I find myself longing for change, and in the bad times I fear myself.
I'm off the deep end, watch as I dive in. I'll never meet the ground.
Crash to the surface where they can't hurt us. We're far from the shallow now.
In the the shallow, in the shallow, in the shallow, we're far from the shallow now.
Once again, we'd like to welcome our media partners, KNDI Radio, KKNE, as well as KPHI on Philcom Cares Radiothon. It's up right now after a station identification from our media partners. I'm Larry Ordonez. Be right back.
I'll never meet the ground. Crash to the surface where they can't hurt us. We're far from the
And we'd like to say thank you to Rowena, Siko, and Francisca out of Bulacan with this beautiful song.
in the shallow, in the shallow, we're far from the shallow
Aloha and mabuhay, Hawaii. Aloha to all of our radio listeners at 3 radio stations while we are live on air throughout Hawaii. And aloha to all of our viewers on social media. I'm Larry Ordonez, your co-hosts on today's Radiothon. Thank you once again for joining us. I'm with Ethnic Education Hawaii as its president this year, and one of today's program hosts in this Philcom Cares Radiothon and virtual show is Clement Montero. Just reminding all of you that this Radiothon is brought to you by the Filipino Community Center, that's the Philcom Center, Hawaii Public Health Institute, Ethnic Education Hawaii, and the live broadcast is funded by the State of Hawaii Department of Health and Grants in Aid. Special thanks to the 3 radio stations carrying our broadcasts, KNDI 1270 AM, as well as Pinoy Power, KKNE 940 AM, and KPHI 96.7 FM, as well as big mahalo to the individuals, to the groups, and to the organizations who agreed to stream our Radiothon on Facebook, as well as other social media. May I introduce our co-host in today's Philcom Cares Radiothon and virtual show. She is Communication and Culture Specialist of Philcom Cares, as well as instructor, lecturer, and educational specialist at the Center for Philippine Studies at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. I'd like to welcome Ms. Clement Montero. Aloha, Clem. Thank you again for agreeing to co-host with me in our program. Hi, Clem. I'm not sure if you can hear me. Okay, I think we need to make sure.
I can't hear anything. I don't know if you can hear me, but
yes,
I can't
I
hear
can
anything.
hear you loud and clear. Okay, here we are. I just did a nice, great introduction of you. And I guess you did not hear me on Zoom because I was muted. However,
Okay.
we are
All right,
on
so I
right
will
now.
go ahead with my greetings. Maraming salamat. Magandang umaga po for the technical difficulties, pero nandito na po tayong lahat. Nagpapasalamat ako at nanonood kayo at nakikinig kayo sa Philcom Cares Project, Caring, Connecting Community. Ang theme ngayon umaga ay Caring, Connecting Community. We prepared an informational background for you. Ito ay isang masagana at pangunahing balita at punong-puno ng importanteng impormasyon para sa inyong lahat tungkol sa pangangalaga sa sarili, yung healthcare, ngayong may COVID-19. Stay with us for the next 2 hours and join in the fun during our giveaway contest for a chance to win a $20 Foodland gift card We also want to hear from you. Adda ka di kayat yung asaludsuden kanyami. When no adda kayat yung ibaga kanyami, please text us 808-772-3242. We will have a chance to address your comments or answer any of your questions later during the show. Actually, excited lang talaga ako na makasama muli si Sir Larry.
Oh, yes. And Clement, we have invited notable guests to be in our panel of speakers today to give us the latest information about COVID-19 from ongoing vaccinations. Let's see, I want to make sure that we have our video out there. Let's remove whoever is sharing that screen right now. Let's remove that from ongoing vaccinations and to give us advice on how to celebrate with our families, especially. And let me see if I can clear that screen. Let's clear that screen, everyone, whoever is helping us out. You know, it takes a village to bring a radiothon virtually separated from each other. Just to give you a secret, I'm doing it from home, and Clement is doing it. Where are you, Clem?
I'm also at home.
You see, and so a lot of us are from the comfort of our homes and bringing you the latest information on COVID-19. Special expression of appreciation to many individuals, organizations, our city, state, and federal government officials, their leadership to bring us all to safer levels and conditions, and many of whom stepping up to the plate for humanitarian services and all for the good of our community.
Exactly. The disparate impact of COVID-19 on non-native Hawaiian Pacific Islanders has been well covered in the media. Ngem, dagiti saan unay ang mayramraman na tattao ket dagiti Filipino. Tayo po ang pangalawang ethnic group dito sa Hawaii na talagang tinamaan ng lintik, sabi nila, ng COVID-19. At kailan lang nalaman ito? Mga 2020 tag-araw, summer po, summer. Idilaing kalgaw na amuan tayo that we have been sparsely or bihira mentioned sa media. So ito po ang purpose ng programa namin. Filipinos make up 16% of the state population, but compose 21% of confirmed cases at that time. The death rate for Filipinos who contracted the virus was 24%, and we're hoping it's lower now. Larry?
Well, Danny Juan is the executive director of Philcom Center, and Dr. Amy Agbayani is co-chair of the Philcom Cares, also Assistant Vice Chancellor of Student Diversity. Both are here to welcome our listeners and viewers to the show and share the background of Philcom Cares and how it got started. So let's go to our Zoom room right now and take a listen to Danny Juan and Dr. Amy Agbayani. Welcome to our radiothon, both of you.
Thank you very much, Larry.
Go ahead, Dr. Amy Agbayani.
Thank you. It really is a privilege to work with this wonderful team. And what I'd like to do, I'll have the others talk about how we started and some details, is I wanted to share with you the Filipino community is part of the state community, the population in the state as well as in the nation. The month of May is actually the Asian American Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander month, where we try to celebrate, learn about, and acknowledge the contributions of each of these groups. There are actually Filipinos that are considered to be part of the Asian American category. There are over 22 million Asian Americans in the United States, and that represents only 6% of the nation. And Filipinos are the largest, one of the largest Asian American groups. There are more than 4 million Filipinos in the nation, and we represent actually 1% of the entire nation, which is quite large. That's 4 million Filipinos in the nation. But in Hawaii, Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders represent 2/3 of the population. So it's really very different being a Filipino or an Asian American in some of the states on the mainland compared to being from one of those groups in Hawaii. But I did want to connect us to the situation also on the mainland. One statistic is that Filipino nurses are 4% of all nurses in the nation, but they represented 30% of all the nurses who died of COVID. So it is really a serious problem in our community on the mainland as well as in Hawaii. Mm-hmm. I did want to point out that Filipinos in Hawaii are one of the 4 largest ethnic groups in the state. The first group is white or Caucasian or Haole. The second is actually Filipino. The third is Japanese, and the fourth are Native Hawaiians. And when you have Filipinos and and part Filipinos combined, it means that 1 in 4 people that you bump into in the state has Filipino ancestry. So we are part of the economy, we're part of the community, but we are not doing well as an ethnic group. So the good news is that we have a large and growing community, and we've made important strides in Hawaii's economy, like tourism, agriculture, and healthcare. The bad news is that we're underrepresented among the teachers, elected officials, government leaders, business leaders, and other professions. And we have the talent, and we need to increase our representation there. The bad news is that many of our members of our community are in low-paying jobs and have to work 2 jobs, and now a huge number are unemployed because of the pandemic. And the bad news, as pointed out earlier, is that many of our community are infected with the virus and are really in danger of getting this infection. But the good news is that we have made a lot of strides. We have done testing in the community, in the Filipino community with our group, and also with the larger programs like at Blaisdell and the hospitals. And the good news is that we have this program and we are reaching out, and the Filipino community is responding, and we're so grateful that we will change this bad news to good news with your help. And so I want to say thank you to all of the people listening in, because it's only because we can reach out to you that we can stop the spread. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Amy. Now we go to Donnie, please.
Yes. So the whole Philcom Cares program was a brainchild. I think it was started by Dr. Amy Agbayani as well as Dr. Agnes Malate, and they rounded up a group of volunteers to see how we could help not just the Filipinos in the state of Hawaii, but the whole state of Hawaii together, because it's a group project. So they thought about this started late last year in October into November, where we were trying to help the community get testing, just free testing happen at various locations, primarily at the Philcom Center. And then it evolved into a vaccination effort. They approached the Philcom centers, the board of directors, through their full support. They said, yes, absolutely. Philcom Center is a trusted place in the community. Everybody recognizes it. It too has a volunteer board of directors. So, we've had a lot of volunteers throughout the program at every vaccination. We've had wonderful sponsors, Narrate Hawaii, Hi-Fi, the Legal Clinic, KNDI. All these groups are all supportive of this Philcom Cares program, and we're going to continue to do what we can to help. We'll focus on the Filipino community, provide the information in dialects that they can understand. But But the most important part is to really make a push for everyone to get vaccinated. So contact your primary doctor, get their recommendations. And if you don't have a primary care physician, contact the PhilCom Cares group. We'll get you the information that you need. But the sooner we get herd immunity going on for the whole state, everybody, not just the Filipino community, but we can all get back to work, get the economy going on, and put these struggles behind us and move forward. But once again, thank you to all the volunteers that we have, all the presenters that we have today. Thank you to KNDI for getting this message out. It's very important because I know the Filipino community listens here. But once again, thank you very much.
Thank you both, Donnie and Amy, for important messages, especially knowing that there are 4 million Filipinos, in the United States. And so we need to get everybody vaccinated, and let's utilize the number 808-772-3242 should you need information about if you don't have a doctor. And contact us at Philcom Center, and they will provide you with any information that you need. So maraming salamat again, Donnie and Dr. Amy. Sila po ang mga namamahala or in charge ng proyektong ito. Kasama din sa co-chairs sina Agnes Malate at Dr. May Rose Cruz. Larry, back to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Clement. At the same time as our radiothon broadcast is happening on air and online, we'll go on site. We have Philcom Cares team members out at Our Lady of Sorrows in Wahiwa this morning via live feed. We have Giovanni de la Cruz, Bernard Menor, and Valerie Desil to tell us more about Philcom Care. So let's go live over in Wahiwa at this time.
Kumusta, Giovanni and Bernard? How are things going at OLS? Maraming tao?
Mabuti sa Tagalog, nasaya at no Ilocano.
Nasaya at when?
Mga siguro sa nga pulo nga taon ti natudukan at dama nga tumultulong kan ni nurse Anilet. Tagasurat at
natudukan.
Makungkuna nga vaccination cards.
Napabakunaan.
Nabakunaan.
Government property apo, mabalin ipeke dito.
Pukaw.
Kan haambo nga pukpukawan. Importante dito kasi masapul to dito yung vaccine card no ag-travel ka. So nga maawi sa amin agdangdangag na agpabakuna apo.
Well, so yeah, my name is Bernard. Da kayo kampay nga apo na vaccination come in.
Bakunaan.
Calls. Adong calls, but we also have walk-ins. So again, get yours vaccinated. Right now, so far, my Wahiwa is nice and smooth and breezy.
Good. Are you taking first and second or both or today?
We're taking either first or second. We're taking everything.
Okay. And what vaccination are you using today at
We
OLS?
are using Moderna apo. Kas kanya kat Moderna mati na itudok kanya. Sinapo Diyos awan problema. So digite agdudwa nga agpabakuna apo hangay ko mga agdudwa at dito ikat makasalaknib kadat kayong tao kan hala nga sikang agpabakuna at masalakniban pay pati ti pamilyam kan ti komunidad tayo. So nga importante dito yung bakuna. Ado dito may bagba jacket agpabakuna apaya po kaya yung rod nga inti mikilaban nga awan armasyo napipiyang at armasyo ako mikilaban tap na maprotektaran tayo kunti pamilya tayo.
I love the analogy. Yeah, Giovanni and Bernard.
Dapat mangibagbaga manong lari nga di mi kayat kasi ko kunada digitay apo sa balit reaction ti vaccine tumunggal may isa kasla ko magsidat pareha manong lari ada di agpadang bulong ti pareha ti kanandang kadi may isang tao kat napapait lang kanya ng importante kat
nalaing amin yung analogy ni Giovanni. Agyaman kami unay kanyayo. Bernard, thank you. Thank you, Giovanni.
Clement, if you have a connection to both Giovanni and Bernard, are they accepting walk-ins?
Yes, they're accepting walk-ins. Go ahead,
We
Bernard.
actually right now, mga always close to 10, I think, if I'm not mistaken, because we had some no shows. So
Cancellations, yeah.
luckily, adamat nag-show nga nag-walk-in, so
Right.
that compensates our no shows. But as Giovanni said, may kayo vaccination,
Mhm.
so at least
Mhm.
you guys are protected.
And they're doing first and second. And so call them or call our number at 772-3242 and we can connect you to Bernard and Giovanni at OLS. Nang
Yes,
langrunan no
madam,
asidig kayo.
one last thing. Ti importante apo itugot yu ti ID yu ken insurance card no kaya tag walk in wano appointment. Ti duwa nga importante nga itugot mang Laria ID ken insurance card.
No, a one-T insurance card, mabalin lata, please bring your IDs. Okay, thank you so
importante
much.
ti ID.
Ken, masapul nga iyam mo tayo kadakwada, Clement, nga libre da ito, awan ti bayadan da.
Exactly.
So
When?
nga, iyawis mi kada kayo amin sa nga padag, dingdingeg ti radyo, mangbuybuya kada kami ti Facebook, mapan kayo di tawahiwa, madama ti panagpabakuna sa jay, libre, itugot yu ti ID yo, itugot yu ti insurance card yo, no sindadaan nga adda, ket mapan kayo sa jay tag no agpabakuna kayo, protektaran nyo ti bagbagiyo, protektaran nyo miyembros dagiti pamilyas yo, ken siya sino man nga kalinangin-langin yo. Isong mapan kayo sa jay Our Lady of Good Counsel. Until what time will they be there, Clement?
1 hour, 2 hours, right? So they actually started at the same time as us, so 9:30 to 12:30, I believe. So
All right. So are we moving along on our
yes, sir.
content? All right. So right now, this morning, we are also...
She said it's at 12:30. Okay. Yes. Very good.
All right. This morning, we are also fortunate to have a message from Governor David
Ige.
Ige. And so let's go ahead and take a look at his message to all of you listening on the radio, as well as those of you who are viewing us on social media. Here's the governor.
Aloha and mabuhay. Thank you for tuning in to today's Philcom Cares Radiothon. I want to congratulate the Filipino Community Center, Hawaii Public Health Institute, and Ethnic Education Hawaii for sponsoring this event with the KNDI, KKNE, and KPHI radio stations. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge the Philcom Cares team, a project of the Filipino Community Center, for its COVID-19 educational outreach into the community. Recently, Philcom Cares began organizing COVID-19 vaccination clinics for members of the community. This is an important first step towards protecting ourselves and allowing us to safely gather with friends and family once again. I encourage everyone listening and watching to get fully vaccinated. And please encourage your loved ones, friends, and neighbors to get vaccinated. Together, we can protect ourselves and keep our families, friends, and community safe and healthy. We are strongest when we're working together. Mahalo and malaming salamat po.
All right, so that's the message from the governor of the state of Hawaii. And once again, we'd like to say mahalo, Governor Ige, for your kind words. It definitely takes a great effort from all directions, even from within our communities, to push through this difficult time. So let's go back to Clem. Clem?
This is so true, Sir Larry. Vaccination clinics have been ongoing and will continue throughout this summer. And speaking of summer, this week and next week are actually perfect times for you to begin, if you have not done so yet, your vaccination. Kung hindi pa kayo nagpabakuna, tamang-tama po para sa July 4th. July 4th, marami na namang selebrasyon. It's the weekend and we want you to be safe. Safely gathering with kadagiti pamilya ken dagiti gagayem yo. And we're moving on to our first giveaway of $20 Foodland gift card, Sir Larry.
I'd love that. So that's about 1,000 pesos.
Oh, marami yan.
Oh, okay, so let's get to the question. What do we have?
The question is, what are two things that you should bring to your vaccination appointment? Ano ang dalawang bagay na kailangan mong dalhin? At sinabi po ito kanina ni Giovanni while he was on live. So give us a call or text, pwede rin ang text, 772-3242. Nandiyan na po ang number, nakikita ninyo for those of you watching. And you will need to give us your name and your answer. And the first 5 callers with correct answers wins the prize. So 5 for this particular question.
Wow.
$20 Food Line gift card.
Okay,
Each.
so call that number. The number once again, Clement.
It's 772-3242.
Okay, get your calls there and text your answers. You may just be the winner of one of these $20 Foodland gift card being given away by Philcom Cares Radiothon. And right now, let's go ahead and get to our first entertainer in our program. We have Michelle Alo. In the last 24 months, our radio program called Filipino Radio, Sunday and Monday editions on KNDI has been fortunate to connect virtually with many Filipino singers around the world. First to entertain us today is Michelle Alo of Toronto, Canada. Her family is originally from Cebu. She loves theatrical and musical songs. She has been a virtual guest on Filipino Radio on KNDI. Let's now go ahead and join her over in Toronto, Canada. So let's bring out Michelle into our program. Soon as we have the video signal ready. And here is Michelle
Hello,
Alo.
my name is Michelle Allo, and I'm from Toronto, Canada. I really enjoy singing, and I was a former virtual guest on the Filipino radio program with Sir Larry Ordonez. Let's all join the state of Hawaii in its campaign to vaccinate its population against COVID-19. Let's all remain safe, protected, connected, and together we can all soon get over this pandemic. Here's a song we'd like to dedicate to all of Hawaii listeners and to the viewers worldwide of these broadcasts. Thank you and enjoy. I close my eyes and I can see the world that's waiting up for me, that I call my own. Through the dark, through the door, through where no one's been before, but it feels like home. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say I've lost my mind. I don't care, so call me crazy. We can live in a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build. Every room inside is filled with things from far away. Special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. I don't care if they call us crazy.
run away to a world that we design. Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. However big, however small, let me be part of it all. Share your dreams with me. You may be right, you may be wrong, but say that you'll bring me along to the world you see, to the world I close my eyes to see. I close my eyes to see. Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. For the world we're gonna make.
Beautiful singing, Michelle Alo, family originally from
There you
Cebu.
go. Hope you like it.
Yeah, we loved it. Thank you, Michelle. Family originally from Cebu and now over in Toronto, Canada. Back to our dear friend, Clemen. Hi, Clem.
Aloha, I'm still here. We are actually going on a station ID break before we bring in our next guest.
All right, we are having them go ahead and mute us and for them to do their station identification, and that's standard for all radio stations at the top and bottom of the hour. I think we are to share with our viewers, Clem, the answer to the question.
I believe we have to wait until Senator Misalucha is done.
Oh.
So we are going to give you that answer after she sends us her message.
Okay, so
Actually, she's live. She is on live with us. Oh, thank goodness.
Senator Bennett is, when it comes to TV productions, she's a legend. We are also honored today to have Senator Bennett Misalucha, co-chair of the Hawaii Filipino Legislative Caucus, and she represents Aiea, Pearl City, and Pearl Ridge. She's here to share a message with us, and so let's go ahead and say aloha to Senator Bennett Misalucha. Hi, Senator.
Aloha, Larry. Aloha, Clem.
Aloha.
Larry, doesn't this bring back happy memories of our census days?
I was just about to say that to you. You pioneer 5 radio stations, and while live online.
That was fun, wasn't
yes,
it?
yes.
And we learned a lot from that experience, and hopefully that experience now is being translated into our efforts towards getting our people vaccinated. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Wait.
Bigat. Naimbaga bigat.
Bigat. Yo, amen. Apo. Good morning to everyone. And thank you for joining us. So I have a very simple message. You know, there is a Filipino saying that says, ang sakit ng kalingkingan ay nararamdaman ng buong katawan. Think about it, no? The pain of the little finger can be felt by the entire body. So as you know, our community has really been impacted. Nag-suffer tayo talaga dito sa COVID. Pangalawa tayo lang sa pinakamataas na COVID victims. Kaya masakit sa ating community. So paano natin ma-overcome yan? And that is through vaccination. So I urge our community leaders, particularly those who are in a position to reach out to their stakeholders, mga members nila. Kasi alam mo, Larry, we have about, 200, community association. If we can get our leaders to reach out to their members to tell them, let's vaccinate, mag-ano po tayo, lahat tayo tumulong sa isa't isa. Because at the end of the day, ito po, we're all in this journey together. Para naman, we can all gather together as families. Alam ko, ang sarap-sarap talaga na to gather as families, to eat the food, to sing karaoke. We can't really do that if we have this threat that is before us. So we need to make sure that we get vaccinated. And at the same time, Larry, I don't know about you, but I miss those Filipino functions, where we get to see everybody, we get to celebrate our culture. So let's bring back those days by vaccinating, making sure we're over the hump and overcoming the threat of this virus. So kung nakikinig po kayo, meron pa po kayong mga pagdududa, meron pa po kayong mga tanong, please reach out. Meron po kaming mga health, experts dito who will reassure you na safe po ito. Ito po ang makaka-overcome sa atin sa ating crisis ngayon. So, maraming salamat po sa pakikinig, and hopefully Diyos ti agnina. God bless.
Thank you so much, Senator Misalucha. I think this is the first time I've heard you speak all in Tagalog, so good job. And thank you for trying Ilocano as well.
Alam mo,
Ang yaman kami
Bisaya
naman.
ako talaga ako Sige, ano lang, unsa lang ko kanang maminaw lang sa atong mga kaigsuunan din sa atong mensahe nga kinahanglan magpabakuna na ta, okay? So, yan.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much. Sir Larry, actually, kanina, we had technical difficulties, so I could not give the answers, but I'm glad that everybody listened to Senator Misalucha first. So let's move on to our answers. No, thank you so much, Senator. We are going to give you the answer right now. The giveaway answer is you need to bring your ID and insurance card if you have it. So those are the two answers that you have to get correct. So it's the ID and insurance card if you have it. So text us your replies. The first 5 people with the correct answer will receive those gift cards that we said. It's 808-772-3242. Might as well write that number down kasi ito po ang number na usarin tayo for the whole show with your questions if you want to, comments, and of course your answers.
And
Sir Larry.
They can see the answers on the screen. And we just pulled it out, of course. Thank you, Clement. At the heart of the Philcom Cares team is, of course, the Filipino Community Center. It is symbolic of what the Filipino community can achieve together when it comes to providing disaster relief to the Philippines. Our community has a proven track record of uniting to assist.
That's true. The Filipino community in Hawaii is in the state of crisis due to the impact of COVID-19. Isang mabuting oportunidad po natin ito ngayon to envision or makita natin what we want to do for our community and how to act on it, kung ano po ang gagawin natin. Together, our voice is stronger. Napigpigsa ti boses tayo, kunada, to advocate for the needs of today and our hopes for the future. So joining us from Kauai, the island of Kauai, today we have Mr. Emiliano Remigio. Larry?
All right. And of course, as president of the Kauai Philippine Cultural Center, Mr. Remigio is now here to speak on behalf of the island. Let's go ahead and see if we can bring out his message. And also just letting our crew know that if you're wondering why we are not able to remove some of the items on the top as you were asking, it's because what our viewers are seeing on Facebook is different from what you are seeing on our Zoom room. So we are awaiting for the video of Mr. Uh, Emiliano Remigio, over on the island of Kauai. So let's go ahead.
Ni Emiliano
and
Remigio,
take a listen.
magibagi ti Kauai Philippine Cultural Center. Kiti
I believe we're having technical difficulties. During the pandemic, the center has been allocation for food distribution, as well as a site for
Clement,
the
we are
summer
on.
fun.
Mr. Remigio is on. It's just that the sound is a little soft, but let's go ahead.
Emiliano Remigio, nga magibagi ti Kauai Philippine Cultural Center. Kiti paganetget ko kadi kada tayo amin nga pada nga Pilipino iti kinapateg ti panagbakuna may kontra ti COVID-19. Agpaiso nga daytoy akit saan ngayong kapilitan nga iti panagkunak ket nasaysayan matlaeng no datay amin nga sa pasat ti mabakunaan. No usigem no addaman madiarik na ti bagi kung saan ti panagbakuna daytoy doktor tayo maagasan na tayo. Ngem no saan tayo nga bakuna ket dumteng kada tayo ti COVID-19 daytoy doktor awan ti maiter nga agas tayo kakabsat. Saan pa nga mabalin nga sumarungkar ti pamilya tayo mientras nga dati iti hospital. Isod ka po na ngayon gunong ko kada tayo amin ako ay ito yung bakuna tapos sa nga pada tayo nga adda sa laknim na Diyos ti agnina apo.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Remigio from the island of Kauai, for your message and update. And thank you for your support to our community. Clem?
I'm sorry about all the technical difficulties on my end. Number one, I'm really saddened that I can't see Sir Larry. I only see his name there. But anyway, continuing on, each week we are receiving updates from the Department of Health as vaccination eligibility and COVID-19 restrictions have loosened. I believe now it's 18 and older. To provide us with an update, we have Christopher C.J. Johnson, Program Specialist, COVID-19 Community Outreach and Education Program of the Hawaii State of Department Health. Welcome back, C.J.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me and see me okay? Well, I don't have my green screen up, so I'm going to turn my camera off. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm just going to provide a little bit of information. And I think the main thing, as usual, is a reminder that HawaiiCovid19.com, I'm going to center my screen a little bit here. HawaiiCovid19.com is the best way to make sure that you're getting the most up-to-date. And I know PhilCom also has information, and usually those are in sync really well. But if you ever have a question and you don't know who to trust or you don't know where to look, please check HawaiiCovid19.com for the latest information and a couple of updates that we've added. I know a lot of people are interested in what to do if you lose your vaccine card. So we have the information for how to replace your vaccination card up on HawaiiCovid19.com. And not only in English, we have that available in 20 different languages. So if you're someone who likes to get your health information in a different language, check us out. We have it there. The other thing we get asked a lot is, well, if you don't have to have insurance to get vaccinated, why are we asking people to bring their vaccine cards? There's a really good explainer document that, again, we have available in many languages that explains. And the short answer is having an insurance card present is really more for the administrators and for the government so that they can track the reimbursement and the time for the folks who are working on the vaccination, right? There's a lot of skilled people and a lot of resources that go into setting up these events and making sure that the really hardworking nurses and community health workers are compensated for their time is the reason that we do that. But you don't have to have you don't have to have insurance to get vaccinated. And please share that word. We really want to make sure people don't think that that's a barrier. Another thing, I know this is a big piece of news, right? For the longest time, we were only talking about 16 and over, but as of this past week, in the United States and in Hawaii, we are eligible for vaccination are youth, adolescents from 12 and up. So anybody 12 to 15 is eligible. So anyone under 18 is going to be eligible for the Pfizer vaccination. And if you want to get more information about that, we are working with Department of Health. So Department of Education. So you might want to work with your, if you have a student, if you have a kid that's interested in getting vaccinated, check it on the DOE website, the Department of Education website, and they'll have information about when and where they're adding events really regularly to that, to make sure that kids are that folks know when and where kids are going to be able to be vaccinated. And again, Pfizer is the only vaccine that's available for anyone under 18 at this time. The next thing is I know a lot of people are saying, well, hey, if we're vaccinated and we know that vaccines help us keep safe from the pandemic, does that mean that we can stop? The CDC has said, and the president has said that it's fine not to. At the state of Hawaii, we have not changed our recommendations for public behavior. So that means we're still encouraging folks to wear masks in public, to avoid 6 feet strangers, avoid coming into close contact with strangers, and avoid close contact in crowded spaces. And I know that people find that a little frustrating, and they're thinking, well, gosh, aren't we through the finish line yet? And the answer is we're working for a finish line for all of us, right? This isn't a bunch of individual finish lines. This is a big finish line for the whole state and for the whole world. And until we get to that finish line, we all need to keep doing our part. I know one thing that I keep saying a lot as well, if masks work, why do we have to do social distance? And if social distance works, why do we have to get vaccinated? And it's kind of like, do you think of it this way? Well, seatbelts work, right? But you still follow the speed limit, and the speed limit helps you keep from getting in crashes, but you have an airbag in your car, right? So we use all of the tools that are available to us to try to stop this thing from getting any worse, from curbing it, right? So we are still in a crisis. We are still in a pandemic. And until we aren't, we really have to use every tool that we can to fight that. We do have a couple of little things. I will go over them real quick. If you're fully vaccinated and your friend is fully vaccinated, you can go over and have dinner in your friend's house without having to wear a mask. If you can go over to a family of unvaccinated folks' house and have dinner with them if you're fully vaccinated. So if you want to go over to auntie's house and you're vaccinated, that's safe. And then the third thing is if you're called by our contact tracers and informed that you've been exposed to that you're a close contact with someone who's tested positive, if you're fully vaccinated, you no longer have to self-isolate for 10 days. That is something that we've changed in our policy. So there are some benefits. And of course, the other big one is that starting this past week, fully vaccinated people, and again, that fully vaccinated means 2 weeks plus, fully vaccinated people do not have to follow, or there's different safe travel rules rather. So you no longer have to get a quarantine, either quarantine or take a test before travel. If you're fully vaccinated, you can scan and upload your card to the Safe Travel website, and that will count as your pass to get on the plane, right? There's a process you have to go through. Make sure you follow the rules and check out it's travel.hawaii.gov, I believe. But that only counts for people who are vaccinated in the state of Hawaii, and it only counts for inter-island travel for now. So we're going to scale that up, and that's going to be available for trans-Pacific travel and for folks that were vaccinated elsewhere eventually. But for right now, that's only for inter-island travel and for folks that were vaccinated here. So I think those are my big updates for now. I'm so happy to be here. I really appreciate it. Does anybody have any questions while I'm here?
Well, CJ, to follow up, many of those in the community have been asking, what can those who are immunocompromised or are on immunotherapy do during this time? What are some guidelines for them?
So it's a good question, and I think we hear a lot of questions about whether the vaccines are recommended and safe for people that are on immune therapy and are otherwise immune compromised. The first thing I would say is it is a medical decision, so check with your medical provider, your healthcare provider, to make sure that they're aligned with what we're saying as a personal decision. From a public health perspective, we don't have any reason to think that vaccines are unsafe for people who are immune compromised. The question is really how well they work, and that's a question we don't have the answer to, because they may not work as well at helping the body create antibodies as they do in healthy people, but we don't have any reason to think that they're dangerous or unsafe. So I would say check with your healthcare provider. Certainly COVID is unsafe for people who are immune compromised, so that's really that important consideration, but it is a personal decision. And we would encourage, obviously, if you're a caretaker or you're working with, or you're in a household with someone who's immune compromised, or if you are immune compromised and you have folks in your household, really encourage them to consider to be conscientious about hygiene and about best practices, even if they're vaccinated. But in terms of making that decision about getting vaccinated, that's something we would really encourage everybody individually to work with their healthcare provider to decide. But there's no safety reason not to.
CJ, can you give us an example of where they still have to wear masks, like places?
Where who does? Does
where
anyone?
For vaccinated people, where do they still have to wear masks?
So the rules wouldn't have changed, right? So so anywhere that nothing has changed from the state's perspective in terms of just because the federal declaration hasn't changed our emergency order in terms of mask use. So anywhere that you previously would have in public, when you can't maintain 6 feet of distance from other people, we would still encourage mask use. Nothing's
you.
changed for us. Yeah. Mhm.
Perfect. Thank you. And I love the analogies of the seatbelt, the wearing of the seatbelt. We still have to wear it. So, yeah. Oh, so thank you so much for the very useful information. And we are very grateful for your assistance with us with the Philcom Cares project. So we continue to work with you. So we are grateful for that. Thank you again, CJ.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure for us, actually. So, so much knowledge coming from you and your office. So we have just been given a crash course on utilizing all the tools we have to continue to keep ourselves and our community safe. But before we go on to, so we're moving on to our next question. But I am told that we have 4 winners from our previous question, and we have 4 winners, and they are Ophelia Andres, Danilo Cabe, Raymond Fernandez, and Noemi Atanes. So those are the 4 people who won. So that means you can keep calling us because we're looking for 5. But since we have given the answers for the first one, we are going to transition to the next question. Larry, are you are you there? I'm sure you're there.
Yes, I am here, and I can see exactly what you are doing and hear exactly what you are saying. We are now on our giveaway question number 2. And so if we can just put it up on screen, there it is, Clement.
Perfect. 772-3242 is where you will text the answer for this one. So the question is, CDC says for those fully vaccinated, and we just talked about it, there is no need to wear masks except for certain places. Name at least one place where we still need to wear a mask. Isang lugar na kailangan pa rin nating magsuot ng ating mga maskara. Call or text us at 772-3242 for a chance to win the prize. And if you are among the 5 first callers with the correct answer, we will notify you. Pero offline, we will ask you for your name and number and an address because we will have to send you your gift card. So thank you. And that's a $20 Foodland gift card.
Para kadagitay padak ng Ilocano, gagayem ken kakabsat, daytoy ti saludsod, mangibaga kayo ti maysa nga lugar, akasapulan ngayon kayo pinagusar iti maskara. Maysa nga lugar nga kasapulan nga agusar kayo iti maskara, ket i-text you ti songbat yo, wenno itawag yo iti numero 808-772-3242. Once again, that number is 808-772-3242 at dadita screen you iti daytoy akan ito. Let me just put it up there. Okay, that's where the telephone number is. All right, so no bilang da kayo ti mapagasatan nga makaited umuna nga limang makaited ti sungbat na daytoy maadan kayo iti 20 nga dolyar nga gift card pag shopping you sa Jai Foodland. So good luck to you. And up next, Miss Marisa de la Cruz is the Director of Clinical Operations at Kalihi Palama Health Center and the lead for the center's partnership with Philcom's Cares to hold vaccination clinics at the Co-Cathedral of St. Teresa. And she will discuss what to expect after being vaccinated. And I understand that people react differently from the vaccinations. Tell us more about the different effects that vaccinated individuals may experience. Ms. Marisa, welcome to our program.
Diyaman na kakabsat, panangimbitaryo kanya kita, agpaysusak ni Marisa de la Cruz na agubra iti Kalihi Palama Health Center, ket agpayso ako kakabsat nga adumit dagiti saan nga nakaro when mild nga madi nga epekto ti COVID-19 vaccine nga mapadasan tayo ti lasod ti maysa wenno duwa nga aldaw kalpasan ti bakuna tayo. Karaman dagitoy nga side effect ket awan ti marikna. So di ti maysa nga napintas. Kaadwan na awan ti mariknada at all. Adamit dagiti tao nga 80 to 90% mapadasan dati sakit ti takyagda nga na injeksyonan. Wenno 50% ket ma-experience that is medyo nasakit ti ulo da, when no kasla na bannog dala unay. Ket 25% ay nakit ibagada nga nasakit ti susuot da, when no aglamin da, kastamet. When no, may nga 10% ket kunada nga guriguren da, kasla makasarsarwada, medyo agtakida, wenno lumteg day takyagda nga na bakunaan. Adamet ti 1% nga ibagada nga ay nakit kasmet lang limteg day tay lipnog da kano. Ngem, dagitoy nga bambanag ket haan nga maikumpera no dijay talged tayo when no feeling tayo no agpabakuna tayo. Isu nga, syempre, kayat ko amin nga mabakunaan tayo amin nga tatao nga eligible nga mabakunaan tapno ay nakit maisubli tayo man dagitay panagpaparty tayo, makatravel tayo, makapangantay man kaligitay adu nga makmakanen, ken makapantayo ti sabali nga papanan tayo. Ken amoy tayo pa'y kakabsat dagiti tattao when nababakit ken lalakay ket awan unay ti epekto na kadakwada nga madi no agpabakuna da iti COVID-19 vaccine. No daduma pa ket dagitay kunada no umuna nga dose mo ket awan tinariknam ngem no DJ second dose mo ket medyo isu ti pan nakariknam ti dagitay sasakit ti susuok mo when no medyo agsakit ti ulo tayo kasjay. Ngem no adda ti marikna tayo ket saan nakakayat nga sa when daytoy nga addan ti COVID-19 tayo. Haan na nga sintomas daytoy nga adda ti sakit tayo. No diket rikna tayo dagitoy nga bambanag tapno no daytoy immune system tayo ket tumibker tapno malabanan tayo ti anyaman nga umay nga infection kada tayo iti masakbayan. Isu nga again kabsat ken gagayem dagiti sa ampay nga nagpabakuna tawagan yon dagiti Welcome Cares wenno ti Kalihi Palama Health Center ket intayo agpabakuna amin apo. Okay, thank you.
Marisa, saan na masapol nga adda mariknada? It's not necessary, right?
Awan ti mariknada. Dahil nga rod antik nga 94 years old ket nagpabakuna ket ay naapo ket awan pulos na rikrik na nakit kuna na ket siya medyo nagsakit ti ulo kay asawak medyo naggurigor ket isu awan na riknana ket 94 kuna ket ay naapo na atidog samang pay met antik ngem da kami kunakman ket when indanat sa nagasut kunana isu nga no isu da ket nagpabakuna da ay nakit data yung tupay nga medyo ubing agpabakuna tayo met apo nasaya at data para iti masakbayan tayo iti health tayo ken iti komunidad tayo tapno maikaten dagitoy adu nga saksakit ti COVID ay ket no siya nga may sak kayat kunti ag travel intay dyan Pilipinas ni apo kakabsat ken gagayem travel tayo ken dagitay man party ayakit dagitay bindunggo kada adu nga kangkanen tayo ket ay nga agpaparty tayo ken agkakaraoke tayo nga kaspuna daytay may sa itay nga nagsao ket mamiss ko dagit dyan. Isu nga na siya kada kayo tumawag kayo ti Welcome Cares tumawag kayo ti Kalihi Palama Health Center. Let's get vaccinated everyone.
Agyaman kami unay, Marisa, and you're very enthusiastic about it. So, that will come across to our audience na manta adda ka ditoy kadwa tayong mangibaga kadagitoy abanbanag. Thank you, Marisa.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful messages from Marisa de la Cruz. Thank you very much. And now let's go ahead with our next entertainer in our program. Our next guest is 4 years old, and let me say 4 years old. Let me see if I can bring up his picture right now on our big screen. 4 years old leads me to ask you, what do you remember doing when you were 4 years old, Clement?
Oh my gosh, I started nursery. I was 4 years old and went to nursery school and never left school ever since then.
Okay, well, he is 4 years old, loves to sing and dance, knows how to add, subtract, and multiply numbers, and mom says he washes his hands frequently. His mom is from Negros Oriental in the Philippines. He speaks Bisaya and English. His name is David Ross Fleming. You can see his picture on our big screen right now. From Tacoma, Washington. And he has hundreds of thousands of followers on social media. He once served as a virtual special guest on KNDI Radio's Filipino radio program. And now let's go ahead and join David Ross Fleming over in Tacoma, Washington. Hi, David.
Hi, I'm David Fleming from Tacoma, Washington. I'm happy to be here as part of this COVID-19. What is it about? Caring, connecting, and for the good of the community. Get your vaccine now. It's my people. Humble themselves, humble themselves this way. As I seek my face, they humble themselves and turn from my wicked ways. I hear from heaven, and forgive their sins. I hear from heaven, and will heal away. Will heal away. Father, heal away. Hear our cry into our nation back to you. Lord, hear our wail, hear our word and heal our land. Forgive our sin and heal our broken heart. We humble ourselves and pray. Lord, we seek you and humble yourself and turn from a wicked way. Oh, hear from heaven and forgive their sin. By then your mercy come, heal our land. Lord, heal our land. Father, heal our land. Heal our cry and turn our nation back to you. Lord, heal our land. Hear our word and heal our land. Forgive our sin and heal our broken land. Lord, heal our land. Father, heal our land. Heal our cry and turn our nation back to you. Lord, heal our land. Hear us, O Lord, heal our land. Forgive our sin and heal our broken land. Father, heal our land. Hear our cry and heal our broken land.
Great singing. Thank you very much, David Ross Fleming. You are an inspiration to so many around the world. And thank you to Mom, David Ross Fleming's mom, who's watching us over in Tacoma, Washington right now. Antonietta, thank you. And Beth Dakanay over in Singapore. Thank you so very much. And Tessie Blossom, thank you for letting us have David in our program today. Were you singing at 4 at your school then?
I don't think I was allowed.
Uh, that
But
is
about you? Do you remember when you were 4, Sir Larry?
Well, not at 4, but probably at 6 or 7, I was on top of the water buffalo and I sang, and the water buffalo says, "Please stop singing, let me eat."
You had
Okay.
the whole field as your audience.
Yes. Okay, back into our program. If you had just joined us, welcome to Philcom Cares Radiothon, live on air by way of KNDI, KPHI. That's Pinoy Power, well, KPHI and KKNE, Pinoy Power Radio Station. Thank you for carrying our broadcasts. We are Larry Ordonez and Clement Montero hosting Philcom Cares Radiothon today. And back to Clement.
So we're going back to our questions. We've been receiving answers already from people. So ang tanong ulit ay, name one place where we still have to wear masks. Saan pa po tayo nangangailangang gumamit ng ating masks? Ang giveaway answer na, sirit na ba? So sabi ni, may mga connections po tayo dito at merong 3 sumagot. So pagbigay ng sagot, hindi na pwedeng sumagot, di ba? So ang ating giveaway answer ay any health settings like doctors and dental offices, hospitals, and in all public transportations, katulad ng airports, planes, buses, stations. At syempre, idagdag natin, we'll add on what CJ said, anywhere where you cannot practice the 6 feet distancing, or when you're in public places. So we still, even though you're fully vaccinated, it's still best for us to wear our masks. So all health settings and public transportation.
All right, congratulations to the winners of $20 Foodland gift cards. Now, let's go to our next guest. A very popular topic in the last few days has been updated guidelines to travel. And on May 11, the state of Hawaii began implementing a system which allows those who are fully vaccinated and who received their vaccinations in Hawaii to be able to travel inter-island without the need for pre-travel testing or quarantine.
Exactly. Very popular indeed. And I've met many people in vaccination clinics who primarily came because they really want to travel. Included there are my parents. So to help us understand more about this, as well as updates to our real ID identification cards, kadwa tayo ita, bigat ni Jade Butay. He's the director of the Department of Transportation. Kablaawan da ka, Jade.
Diyos Tiagina, and maraming salamat Manang Clement and Manong Larry. Aloha, name baga ngaldaw yu amin, and magandang umaga. Dahito'y inter-island travel vaccine exemptions ket mangitid ti alternatibo no kayat mo ti agbiyahe kadagiti na duma-duma nga isla ti Hawaii. Ngem haan mo nga masapog dahito'y no dito'y uwahu ti umayam. Dito yung programa, kahit mabalin nga aramatem, no, haan mo kayat DJ 72-hour pretest when no essential worker exemption. Masapol nga dito'y Hawaii, tinakabakunaam, ken masalup nga at sangapulog at 5 nga aldaw tinapalabasen, manipod ti idi na kompleto ti panagbaksin mo. Picturean nyo DJ vaccination card, ket ikabil mo yan ta travel.hawaii.gov. Nasiyat met no itugot mo mismo DJ card no agbiyahe ka. Amok nga adu kada kayo ti agurure kadeto ya programa tapno nalaklaka mabisita yo dagiti gagayem ken kabagyan yo dita sa baling isla. Napintas dito yung rason no apay nga masapol nga agpabakuna tayo. Madama nga ma-develop tapno may usarnet dito yung programa kadagitay panagbiyahe tayo dito mainland. Parang may lipas dito nga summer ken para international travel. Ang Temotril ID manang nayulutod ti deadline para detay marka para ti driver's license wano state ID ingana May 3, 2023. Masapul nga the real ID marka ti driver's license wano state ID tapno mozar mo detoy kadagiti federal screening kas TSA yanta airport wano inkayanta federal building. Inyalulod the Department of Homeland Security ti deadline gabut ti pandemic. Awisin kayo nga kitayan nyo ti hi.hawaii.gov /Hawaii State ID para ti adupay detalye. Thank you, Manang.
Agyaman kami unay, just for clarification, Jade, mapanda, masapul da nga itugot dagiti Hawaii driver's license da, ken mapanda ijay opisina ti driver's license, and isuda ti mangi kabil ti marka iti driver's license for the real ID.
That's correct, Manang. It's with the DMV,
Okay.
the county DMV.
Mhm. And then when they have this, the one that they have to take a photo of is their immunization cards. That's what they will give to the travel.hawaii.gov to get the passes. Is that correct?
Yes, the vaccination card. The vaccination card.
Vaccination cards. Yeah. Anything else, Sir Larry? Any questions you might have?
Well, is there a telephone number where adda ka di telepono, numero nga telepono nga mabalin nga awagan dagiti pada nga agkalikagom ti si sungbat ti salsaludsod da kas pangarigan gaputay kabagyanda manipod di jay Pilipinas ket gaputa adda nabakunaan dan kaya masapol ka di pay laeng ti swab test da sakbay nga mapanda ti kabangibang nga isla.
Saan Manong no if they have the vaccination, if they've been vaccinated, handa masapul ti matest the COVID test. Basta talaga at the vaccination card da.
Okay. So kada kayo
No,
amin sa
gaya the mainland, you still need to masapul mo pela the pre-travel testing. Okay. Mainland di pagkapuan mo, gapu ka mainland.
Ken no naggapu ka ijay mainland, ken may ka ditoy Hawaii, ken kayat mo nga mapan ka dagiti sa bali nga isla, saan mabalin nga saan ka, masapul mo pa iti COVID testing. You have to be a resident in Hawaii and have had your test done here in Hawaii, so you can travel inter-island without the COVID testing.
Correct, Madam.
Okay. Giyaman kami unay, Jade, for coming back to us again. Now you were on our first radiothon and so many people
benefited from your messages. So agyaman kami manen, Ken ka.
I
May
think we're moving.
tuloy kumanda tay sa lodsod ko itay, Clement. Is there a telephone number that people can call to inquire and have answers to their questions when they travel to the neighbor islands? Dagiti padak nga kailukanwan nga padak nga hanga makaing English ket adda ka di telepono mabalin nga awagan.
Let me look for that number, Mano. But I mean, we have online the HawaiiCovid19.com has a lot of information. But
All right.
I'll look for the numbers to give.
Okay, and we can always announce it on radio. Matulungan na kitay padang kalikagom tisong bat kadagito yung asal sa lodsod. From
Manang Larry, Sir Larry, adati message ni CJ Kanyatayo nga mabalinda met nga awagan ti 211. That's the information phone number. So 211 could also be called for more information about this particular topic.
All right, and once again, big mahalo. Diyos unay ti agngina, Apo Director, ti Departamento ti Transportation, ti Estado ti Hawaii, Jade Butay. Thank you.
Sir Larry, before we move on to our next topic, I want to say that we already have the winners for the second question. Should we give the names now? Should we tell them they won?
We should do that now so that the others will not spend too much time. Maginawa ko
Calling.
mang tumawag ka. Dami gayam na nga bakin ko na doon.
Alang nga ro, mapang kayo agin now, dapay may isa nga sumaruno, kalpasanday to. So the winners are, we have 4 again this time. Evelyn Liena, Elye Lista, Amelia Casamina, whoop, whoop, and Noemi Atanes. Oh, Noemi also won from the first one. So good job, Noemi, in calling in and giving us the correct answers.
Okay, and if you won twice, be prepared. You will be giving a lesson to our next audience on radio.
And if you won twice, that means you have $40 to spend
Oh,
at
yes.
Foodland. Aduti pa kanin pa yon. Moving on to our next guest, Sir Larry. Sometimes we have to be on our toes to keep up with all the changing travel updates. But this is expected. We expect this to be so. Iso nga, masapul tayo maadal or to know more knowledge on what is to keep us being safe. Here are updates on travel papuntang Pilipinas from the Philippine Consulate of Honolulu. Joining us is Vice Consul Andrea Cristina Queimo. Welcome po, Vice Consul.
Good morning, and maraming salamat for inviting us to your program. I'd like to share information about the current COVID situation in the Philippines and the latest travel rules applicable to Filipino citizens, balikbayans, and foreigners. Regarding the COVID situation, there are currently 56,709 active cases in the country, with 6,739 new cases added yesterday. At this time, because of the high number of COVID cases in the Philippines, we highly advise travelers to defer their trip to the country unless absolutely necessary. The Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases, or IATA, also prohibits the entry of foreign nationals to the Philippines at this time. Only the following are allowed to enter the Philippines. Number 1, diplomats and members of the international organizations and their dependents. Second would be Filipino citizens, including dual citizens. Third, foreign nationals with valid and existing long-term visas. Fourth, foreign nationals allowed entry under the Balikbayan program, provided that these nationals are from non-visa required countries such as the United States. The Balikbayan program applies to former Filipino citizens together with their foreign spouses and children who are traveling with them, provided they are able to show proof of filiation. This means your birth certificate, marriage certificate, and of course the Filipino citizens' spouses and children who are also traveling with their Filipino next of kin. Fifth would be foreign nationals who are holders of valid and existing special resident and retirees visa or Section 9 visa, provided they present upon arrival an entry exemption from the Department of Foreign Affairs. All arriving travelers shall undergo 14-day quarantine upon arrival. So this is one of the changes. Before, it was just 7 days, then 10 days. Now, it's back to 14 days. And the first 10 days of which shall be observed in a quarantine facility, the remainder to be completed under home quarantine in the respective local government units of their destinations. Due to the changing regulations, we advise travelers to visit the social media pages and website of the Philippines Bureau of Immigration for the latest updates on travel restrictions to the Philippines, or email xinfo@immigration.ph. So those are some informations that our listeners might need in terms of traveling to the Philippines as of the moment.
Vice Consul, could you please repeat that email address again, and so we can keep it on our record. So when they call in, we can give it to them. It's xinfo.
Yes, it's xinfo@immigration.ph.
Okay. Okay.
It's best to also consult directly with the Bureau of Immigration, because while we can issue visa, the final decision as to whether a foreign national can enter the Philippines rests on our immigration officers.
Vice Consul, while they're waiting on all of these changes, is it still possible for them to visit the consulate's office to do their paperwork, like preparation for like their visa or their passports?
Regarding the visas, all our applications are done online. So if you're one of the people that are qualified to apply for visa, but right now we're not because of the restrictions on foreigners, they could submit their requirements online, but we won't be able to process them because we're not allowed right now to process certain types of visas.
How about people who are in the Philippines and who are dual citizens? Is it easy for them to come back to return to the United States?
Right now, as far as I know, the United States doesn't have any travel ban for travelers coming from the Philippines, so they should not have problems in terms of immigration coming out of the Philippines.
Especially for the dual citizens, I believe, right?
For dual citizens, if they wanted to go to the Philippines, they must present their identity certificate, the documents that was given to them during their dual citizenship application. So that's required for them to present upon entry to the Philippines.
Sir Larry, do you have any questions for Vice Consul while she's here?
None right now, but thank you for the very vital information shared with us by Vice Consul Andrea Cristina Caimo. Thank you very much, Vice Consul, for taking the time to be with us. Thank you. All right, moving along in our program, we have Jenny Bissell here to share a few words. She is a public health nurse with the State Department of Health on the island of Maui. Jenny is also the president of the St. Teresa Filipino Catholic Club in Kihei, as well as secretary of the Philippine Nurses Association of America Maui chapter. So let's go ahead and welcome Jenny Bissell out of the island of Maui. Hello, Jenny.
Hello, Manong Larry. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me and inviting the neighbor islands and inviting us to participate in this wonderful event. There were three things that Millie had asked me to share with you and to all of our listeners and viewers. The first one is why did I get the vaccine? Why did I choose to be vaccinated? Actually, because the vaccine chose me. And I embraced the opportunity and the challenge to be vaccinated. And I'm so glad I did because I'm healthier and I'm safer and more at ease and more comfortable in doing what I love most. And that is connecting and caring for our population, especially our most vulnerable population that needs a helping hand. The second question that I want to share with you is that what are some of the things that I am looking forward to now that I am fully vaccinated that I was not able to do during the pandemic or during the restrictions, all the restrictions. I love to travel around the world. I love to visit my families throughout the world. And I have grandbabies. I'm a grandma, and I want to go and visit them. We love to gather as Filipinos. We love to celebrate life in general. We love to do things with our families and friends and neighbors. And I am really, really looking forward to having that. And because life is short-lived. So I'm just so glad that I got vaccinated. Virtual gathering is great, but sitting around hand in hand, hugging, embracing, kissing is so much greater. And it's a great immune booster being, next to each other. The third information or questions that I was asked to address is the vaccination efforts that is happening in Maui County. And I'm sure that around the state, we have a lot of similarities in terms of our activities. You know, the Filipino community at the very beginning part of the pandemic was the focus was the other groups. But I think because of the statistics that had come out, where in terms of cases, in terms of cases, that really put a focus and refocusing to the Filipino community. And so I really thank Philcom Cares. I really thank all of you and KNDI for giving us this opportunity to really share the resources and some of the activities that are happening in our community. The work and efforts personally actually started 30 years ago in terms of vaccination efforts. This is part of my life as a public health nurse. This pandemic actually just amplified it a little bit higher and louder. Strengthening relationships, cultivating partnerships in both public and private sectors, including the faith-based communities. As Filipinos, that is dear to our heart. We are very spiritual and human being, and we do a lot of things around our faith and our faith. So, for example, capitalizing on and utilizing the existing partners that we have cultivated over the years. In Maui County, our Filipino Community Center is the heart of our Filipino community. They know, they're familiar with it, they trust that center, they trust the mission of that center. So we have capitalized on that and use it as our vaccination pods or points of distribution, whether it be the vaccine now, whether it be food, or even just a gathering place. We also utilize church campuses like at St. Teresa, the St. Teresa Church here in Kihei, Maui, Hawaii. We are one of the Catholic churches in Maui County that is using that as our vaccination pods or point of distribution. We also have a large ministry which feeds the hungry, the houseless, the homeless, the homebound. Halikaukau is one of our biggest ministries. So we're using that as well to as a mobile clinic for our vaccination. Partnering with our academic institutions, empowering our upcoming leaders, our nursing, our healthcare providers, future leaders, mentoring them, capitalizing on them to have them be involved in the pandemic response. What a great time it is for our nursing students, to be part of this, of the response, the overall response. It's just wonderful. And all the partners that is happening throughout the state, our Hawaii National Guard, the Maui DOH, the Maui County, all our university academics institution, DOE, and all of the agencies that were presented today as
Jenny,
part of the panelists.
thank you so much, because you have told us about the wonderful efforts in Maui. And so I'm so glad that we are nearly achieving the herd immunity in Maui. Thank you so much for all the efforts of all the people that you have gathered together with you. So more power to the island of Maui.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's a privilege for us to have you here.
Thank you, Jenny.
So,
Thank you, Clement. Let's move to the next portion of the program as we may be a few minutes behind schedule. Thank you, Jenny, out of Maui.
So, Sir Larry, it has only been about 3 weeks that we were able to offer vaccines to everyone. Everyone meaning 12 and above now. Oh, well, 18 and above, and then this week, 12 and above. So it has been announced by CDC that we're starting to vaccinate 12 and older. The Department of Health has been partnering with schools to bring vaccines to different schools. It is with strong hopes that we can return to a more normal school year this fall. Rochelle Aureliano Fontanilla, and I have a close relationship to this wonderful person. She teaches the Ilocano language at Waipahu High School, and she can give us more insight on the importance of these news.
All right,
Rochelle?
let's go ahead and play a message from Rochelle
As a
Fontanilla.
teacher, I really miss the interaction with my students, just being able to greet them and, see their faces, and just being able to connect with them in person. This year has definitely been a rough year, and the pandemic has certainly put a mental stress on everyone, especially our students. And now that the vaccines are available to children 12 and older, the goal is really to safely open our schools and resume in person learning and activities for our students next school year. This statewide effort to vaccinate eligible students is to reduce the impact of COVID in our schools and our communities so that we can all get back to doing the things that we love, spend time with our families, and really fully reopen our schools. Vaccination is a critical step in helping to stop the pandemic. And for me, I chose to get vaccinated to help protect my family, to help protect my community, and really do my part in stopping the spread of COVID 19.
Thank you, Rochelle Arellano Fontanilla, for your message. And now back to Clement. Hi, Clement. Let's go to our next giveaway, is it?
Giveaway. We're always happy to give away. Next, 5 callers, 5 correct answers. The question comes from Mr. Jade Butay's report. Where do you upload your vaccinated information for the neighbor island travel? So you see it on our screen there. The number is 772-3242. First 5 correct answers. Where do you upload your vaccinated information for neighbor island? In Ilocano, Sir Larry, what is it
Sa
in Ilocano?
dinno, ti pangipanam, kadagiti impormasyon, ti panakabakunam, tapno ti kasta ket makapag banyaga ka iti kabangibang nga isla. Nawatan na.
808-772-3242. Darasan yon.
$20 gift certificate iti may paay kada kayo bilang laing tamasungbatan nyo dahil nga sa ludsod sa dinno iti pangiyamuam iti impormasyon iti panakabakunam bilang kayat mo ti agbiyahe iti kabangibang nga isla. Okay, sa Tagalog naman,
Saan po natin isusulat or pupuntahan para ipaalam ang impormasyon na tapos na tayong nagpabakuna para makapunta po tayo sa iba't ibang isla ng Hawaii.
all right, so that's the question. Text us or call in your answer at 808-772-3242. You can see the telephone number on our screen. That's 808-772-3242. And now let's go to our next entertainer in our program. Is that what is next?
Yes, napaka-popular.
Yeah, and I know Agnes and Clement are looking forward to seeing him entertain us. Well, our next entertainer is a living legend in culture and arts. The famous singer of the song Anak, Freddie Aguilar, is next to entertain us. He is a multinational and international awardee and was recognized by the Philippine Senate for his lifetime outstanding contributions to the Philippine arts and culture. He currently is a presidential advisor for culture and arts in the Philippines. Honored to have him previously as a virtual special guest on KNDI's Filipino radio program. Here is Freddie Aguilar with his greetings, and he's over in Manila with his latest composition also, song entitled 2022. Let's now go over to Manila, Philippines with Freddie Aguilar.
Po sa KNDI Hawaii at sa lahat po ng mga viewers, all of you viewing right now KNDI. This is Freddie Aguilar once again. Get vaccinated and keep safe. If you go out, wear mask and face shield. Again, get vaccinated. Mabuhay kayong lahat. KNDI Hawaii 2022.
Pagsakang ekonomiya ng bayan kong sinta, milyon ang walang trabaho dahil sa COVID-19. Idagdag mo pang West Philippine Sea, mga bagyong magtitindi, kawawa ang bayan, kawawa si Juan. Mabigat ang problema ng susunod na Pangulo, kaya piliin nyo dapat ay may talino. May kakayahan siyang mamuno, usilak ang kanyang puso para sa inang bayan. Inang bayan, ang presidente ko'y may utang, may paninindigan. Siya ay tunay na leader, may bayag at matapang.
And that's the legendary Freddie Aguilar, singer, composer, and presidential advisor for culture and arts over in the Philippines. And we'd like to say thank you to Christine Zulueta out of Las Vegas for helping us out track down Freddie Aguilar to be in our program today. And thank you to Agnes and Clement for Freddie Aguilar being on the show. He's really excited.
Yeah. So Larry, you have really, really good connection. So thank you for bringing him here to our program.
All right, so now we go to our next portion of the program. We do have answers to the last question, where to upload your vaccination information. There are the answers. So let's see if we can make that bigger for everyone to see. There you are.
Safe travel portals.
Yeah.
That's where you need to put them. So we have only one winner here, and the winner for this one is Genevieve Correa. Genevieve Correa won a $20 gift certificate from Foodland, and thank you so much for participating.
Congratulations to Genevieve. Alice Kahanoy joins us now. She is the executive director of the Molokai Arts Center. Alice was born and raised on Molokai. She is with Molokai General Hospital, Hawaii Department of Education, as well as USDA Rural Development Program. Welcome to our radiothon, Alice.
Thank you. Mabuhay from Molokai. Thank you for allowing Molokai to share our voice. My auntie Nora actually came to Molokai almost 20 years ago to fundraise for the Philcom Center before it was built. So we can say Molokai helped build the Philcom Center. I feel blessed to be part of the Philcom Cares efforts to help us through this pandemic. Growing up on Molokai was always about connecting, caring, community. If you're on Facebook, that photo behind me is all my ninongs and ninangs. My father, Francisco Calpito Cabael Sr., was one of the last 3 Sakara on Molokai. Now there is only one. My dad passed 2 years ago, and my involvement in the Filipino community is because he taught me to embrace my heritage. I am Molokai born and raised, but he never let us forget about our Filipino roots and traditions. In Manala Plantation Town, where I grew up, everyone took care of each other. When we talk about vaccination, we're not talking about doing it just for ourselves. We're talking about doing it to keep our island safe, to keep our parents and elders safe, to help each other see our children, grandchildren, family on other islands again. Molokai has been doing really well with vaccination efforts. As of the end of April, with 5,000 Molokai residents eligible for vaccination, 62% had received their first shot, 49% was fully vaccinated. Right now, those who vaccinate at the hospital get a gift card for gas. Every night, everyone's names are put into a drawing for a round-trip ticket for 2 to Vegas. The winner will be announced in August. My husband and I were fully vaccinated in March, and the Molokai Arts Center has been very careful about our safety protocols. Temperature checks upon entrance, sanitizing, and thorough cleansing after each class. It was so important that we reopened because our community needed the art therapy after being stuck at home. For our elders, the pandemic meant shut in with limited contact with the world. And if you're like my mom, stuck at home meant being confused with repeats of TFC and GMA because they stopped filming. So when COVID hit my very small workplace last month, there was no spread. Being able to have the Molokai Arts Center gave our community an outlet to be with a small number of people and create art. There is, however, a cluster in Molokai right now with 12 confirmed cases connected to a work traveler from Maui that included a local restaurant and school. We learned of 2 more positives about an hour ago. So you'll start seeing the numbers go up on the news. Testing is not required on travel between Molokai, Maui, and Lanai because we're all one part of Maui County. The 12 positives were not vaccinated. 15 more tests are pending. Molokai General Hospital will offer free testing on Tuesday, May 18th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., no appointments necessary. The hospital and the DOE is also providing all students and their family members aged 12 and older with the Pfizer vaccine on Monday, May 24th at the Molokai High School gym. My son will turn 12 this Thursday, and we asked him if he wanted to be vaccinated. He said he hates shots, but wants to be vaccinated if it will help stop COVID on Molokai. He really missed his friends during the times on virtual learning and just went back to face-to-face this quarter because we and his grandparents all got vaccinated. A student at his school was affected in the recent cluster. We hope that if you are not sure about vaccination or if you have just not found the time, remember that you are not only doing it for yourself. You are doing it for those around you, for those you love. And it doesn't stop there. If you are already vaccinated, talk to others about your experience. I guess I'm a late bloomer because I didn't get symptoms from the first shot until a week later, just COVID arm where it gets itchy. Then the second shot, I got sick 9 days later. I guess I'm slow like the island of Molokai. When you drive out of the airport, the first thing you see is a sign that says, slow down, this is Molokai. So let's work together to slow down COVID, but let's not slow down COVID vaccinations. Be safe, wear your mask, wash your hands, watch your distance. Thank you again for having me.
I love your message, Alice. Thank you so much. And I also want to thank you for sharing that photograph behind you because that is our culture. We have a lot of ninong and ninang, and you're very lucky because you have great roots. And I want to congratulate you on your good efforts in getting vaccinated in Molokai. And I like your incentive. Do you have prices? Hey, how come we don't have that in here in Oahu? We have to do this. Thank you again, Alice. We appreciate all the work that you are doing in Molokai and working with us at Philcom Cares Project. Sir Larry, this is the designated time for us to do Q&A. However, we have so many important information that we are almost running out of time. So what we will do is on the number that we have given you, the 808-772-3242, they will still keep all of your questions, and we are going to do our best to address your comments and answer some of your questions in a different way. We will
Well,
probably
if it
email
is
you or
not
contact
giving the
you.
answers through this radiothon, just reminding all of you, Dr. Agnes Malate and Clement Montero from Philcom Cares, they do have a radio program each Sunday evening at 6:15 and each Monday 12:15. Yeah, right here on KNDR Radio. And if you have any questions, they'll be happy to answer them during those programs. Right now, we have Dr. Clementina Syria Ulep, Secretary of the Diocese.
Diocesan. I love that.
Congress of Filipino Catholic Clubs. She's also the Associate Dean of Academic Affairs, School of Nursing and Dental Hygiene. Dr. Agnes Malate is the co-chair of the Philcom Cares Project and the Director of Health Careers Opportunity Program within the Student Equity, Excellence, and Diversity Office. Both Dr. Syria Ulep and Dr. Malate are from the University of Hawaii at Manoa. Welcome, both of you.
Welcome, Manong Larry. I am here today representing both Dr. Clementina Syria Ulep and myself. She is the Associate Dean of Academic Affairs at the School of Nursing and Dental Hygiene. And unfortunately, she has to get ready for their virtual graduation.
That's right. Yeah.
So she asked if she is unable to join us, then I will go ahead and say thank you to all of our partners. And she has been really critical. When I started college, she was actually a senior in our residence hall. So we go back a long ways. And I'm just so fortunate that we have mentors such as herself. So let me just give a little story of why we started this. In November 2020, after realizing that we really had to step up as a Filipino community, we organized and we used the blueprint of the successful Filipino Complete Committee to galvanize our community to come together and work and come up with a collaborative response regarding COVID-19. It has really impacted us because there are many of us who are in the health field, work in the health field, who are working in the hotels, who are working in the service industries. And this did not come to light until later on in the year. And so with the help of Dr. Agbayani and the legal clinic, we're fortunate to get $30,000 as our seed money. Since then, the Department of Health, in partnership with the Hawaii Public Health Institute, we got funding to sponsor this radiothon, as well as the weekly show program that, yes, Clem and I are on, to reach out to the community and provide information about COVID, encourage everyone to be safe, get vaccinated, and be educated. Nukwa dagiti programa mi ti taga Domingo kan Lunes kan Ilocano ti pinagsasalitak. So practice man day tamanin nga just dagiti partner mi and dagiti duma adu ti partner mi nga talaga over 20-30 partners. Angum dagiti the Diocesan Congress of Filipino Catholic Clubs talaga isuda ti mangi sponsor dagiti vaccination clinic ti simbaan kun dagiti partner ming ag-vaccinate isuda ti na amuyon ni Marisa. She's with the Kalihi Palama Health Center, and then also the Project Vision kundi te Kaiser, isuda ti kadwami nga ag-vaccinate kadagitoy komunidad tayo. Iso agjusti agnina kada kami, the Knights of Rizal Pai, so ti da nga volunteer. Ang ti kahit kuman nga ipadamag kada tayo kat deto'y Philcom Cares, deto'y project tayo amin nga komunidad. No awanti, no di tayo agtakder and we don't stand together, di tayo kabalinan ang fight deto'y talaga pandemic. So that's why naaduti nang nangagyo dagiti leaders agaputi Kawai, agaputi Maui kan agaputi Molokai. Da kami to amin ita tadawaten mi ti tulong tulong yung agdingdingag. It's our time to come together. And I know there are many organizations. I heard there are over 250 or 300 organizations. But because we can't gather together, it's not been as easy to reach out to everybody because we're so used to gathering in person. So I want to say that this is a wonderful opportunity to be listening together and this broadcast. And you will hear later on as we show on screen for those of you who are on Facebook, the list of people who have been helping, that the background music is Hawaii Aloha, but it's been reinterpreted and it's in Ilocano. And I think it's a beautiful way to show the connection between our host culture, the Hawaiian culture, and all our Filipinos, because we are one, we are in part of this community together, and together we will be able to go forward even stronger. So just tingin na unay kada kayo amin, and I look forward to hearing from you. Laglagipin nyo dagiti numero nga bagbagadawan, dete no kayo ti ag-vaccinate, ti numero nga importante, kat da 808-895-4103. Just the Agnina Clem, and just the Agnina Manong Larry, and of course, Manang Amy, Dr. Amy Agbayani and Donnie Juan opened up the broadcast. So thankful for everyone's support here. Aloha.
I just want to do a shout out for our professors who are in the field, who are part of our, so Dr. Clementina Seria and Dr. May Rose Cruz, because they are actually supporting their graduates. And congratulations to the University of Hawaii graduates. Sir Larry.
Well, many people have played critical roles in the formation and evolution of Philcom Cares. Their unwavering dedication to the project and the community set the foundation for our Philcom Cares collaboration. Please email philcomcares@philcom.org. That's philcomcares@philcom.org if you or your organization is interested in being included in its crusade for a healthier and safer community. And of course, thank you to our crew who are working behind the scenes. From what I understand, not only we are broadcasting at 3 radio stations, that's KNDI, KKNE, KPHI, but also streaming on 15 social media accounts. So
wow.
Big mahalo to our crew working behind the scenes. I would name one, but then again, we had to name everyone. Clem?
So along with the Diocesan Congress of Filipino Catholic Clubs, Ethnic Education Hawaii, Oahu Council of Filipino Catholic Clubs, the Philippine Medical Association of Hawaii, Philippine Consulate General in Honolulu, Knights of Rizal, Hawaii Chapter, and University of Hawaii at Manoa, faculty, staff, and students, they have been our driving force. So mahalo nui loa, agyaman kami unay, marami pong salamat. Sir Larry.
Well, we'd like to spend this time to just say thank you to many of you who have been very helpful in bringing critical information and vital information to our community to be safer and healthier. And many of them have worked so hard, worked till dawn for some of them to bring you the latest information of that we would like to share with you by way of our radiothon. So
So, Sir Larry, have you been receiving text messages at 1 o'clock in the morning, like everybody else?
We are all. I told Agnes we are all in this together. So that's expected.
I think there might be a few questions, and we said in the beginning that we would have a few minutes, if we do, to have everyone who've been here live to
Go ahead.
show their video
Yeah.
come back
Yes,
on.
we do have about
A
3
couple of more
minutes.
minutes. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are the questions that we have? Do we have them? Does anyone have them? Do we have them on our messenger? Agnes, do you know of one or two?
I think, yeah, one of the questions that actually came up is we were talking about inter-island travel, right? What about those coming from the Philippines wanting to come to Hawaii? Should they be aware of? I know on the mainland, they have to be tested by a trusted partner. What's the guidelines there?
Agnes, I can answer that.
Okay.
Awan pa the trusted testing and travel partners in Pilipinas. Is mga masapol dagiti agbiyahe manipod Pilipinas ya quarantine. Nukayat da agdiretso da yan ta mainland when no sa paling nasyon na adan TTTP no that they trusted testing travel partners, kasla ta Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Canada. Agpates da sa danto agbiyahe ditoy. Awisag digite kalikagong agbiyahe dita Pilipinas, magitayan da detoy website hawaiicovid19.com. Tapno makaala dati informasyon may panggap ka digiti TTTP.
CJ, do you have anything to add? Is CJ still there? Okay.
I am still there. No, I
Okay,
do
go
not.
ahead,
No, I do not. That's
Perfect.
yeah.
Mhm. So it's best no saan da nga agdiretso ditoy, they don't have to come directly to Hawaii but go to a different country like Canada to
Or
get.
the mainland.
Okay.
If they don't want to quarantine.
Mhm. Good. Thank you so much. Anything else, Agnes? Any other questions that came in
I think it's more clarifying.
or comments?
When we say, where do you upload? Sagsalusud tayo katakwada na pina-upload yo dati vaccine card information, your safe travels. So we had all kinds of different answers. So just wanted to reiterate again, it's with the director here, Director Butai. Where do they upload it to?
Travel.hawaii.gov.
So they cannot just show up at the airport then and say, here's my vaccine card.
Well, they can, but it'll take longer. But I think it's more convenient if they have the QR code.
Oh, I see. So if somebody did not get the information and they're already there at the airport, they would have to go through the process of actually uploading that up onto the site. So they will not necessarily have to cancel their trip if they were not able to do it earlier.
That's correct.
Okay.
It's probably best
that's
to
good
be
to know
there
because
on
I think-
time,
Yeah, I
earlier
think-
than your travel.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for all the time and the messages that you had given and shared to our audience, our listeners, on the 3 radio stations and also to our viewers from all around the world. On behalf of the Filipino Community Center, Hawaii Public Health Institute, Ethnic Education Hawaii, the live broadcast funded by the State of Hawaii Department of Health and Grants in Aid, we'd like to say big mahalo everyone for joining us. We are Larry Ordonez and Clement Montero until we have the pleasure of seeing each other again. Thank you. Aloha, everyone.
Yaman kami unay.
Tidagaken patubo taenga itigas sa tilangit rambaga o Hawaii aloha agragsak dagiti ugbing iti Hawaii bagsak dagiti ug